Hi, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. I thought the weekend forecast was actually pretty good. Saturday turned out to be the absolute best case scenario. We basically had no rain in many spots, and we did hit, I believe, 60 degrees yesterday as well. Um, and then here we are on this Sunday where it's been pretty nice outside, minus what has been mainly light rain. There's been more rain from Portland northward, less rain to the south, but temperatures again have been up to around 60 degrees. So, hope you had a good weekend. Let's talk about moving forward. And the overwhelming big story is this warm up that kicks in tomorrow, goes through Tuesday, and it's still warm on Wednesday. So, this is the Tuesday morning upper level flow pattern, big upper level high builds into Nevada. Again, the ridging, notice how the arc of the ridging goes all the way up into British Columbia. And every piece of weather model suggests that on Tuesday, at least Tuesday, we have widespread 70-degree temperatures in our local region. Now, back sitting here is the next cold front that comes in Wednesday evenings. That will bring in increasing cloud cover Wednesday and perhaps developing rain as early as Wednesday afternoon. Now, with all of this said, I'm going to get more into the outlook. The 30-day outlook going all the way through the latter part of April is still cold and is still wet. So enjoy this break from the rain and the cool weather as we warm up and get some sunshine, especially in the Tuesday. Here's all of the West Coast. Look at the dark blue. That is below normal temperatures by several degrees. If you start the outlook this coming Wednesday, after we have a couple really warm days and play it through April 25th. So, more on that to come. In fact, more on that coming up right now. Cold trough height of 552 millibars. This is the anomaly from March 26th. Again, I'm starting this after we have a couple warm days through April 25th. This is the American GFS model. The European model is pretty similar. It's a little bit colder, but both show this active cold trough offshore, feeding us rain and feeding us occasionally some pretty cold storm systems with snow levels that, again, in April, I think at least two, maybe three storm fronts could have snow levels down to about 2,000 feet again. That's really low for April. The colder than normal forecast comes in at -1 to -2 degrees. This is the American GFS model. Below normal temperatures in blue in Northern California, Oregon, and Washington. Um, and the Euro's a little bit colder. Often when you get a really active storm flow, your overnight lows aren't that cold because you have clouds and rain, and it's just not that chilly. But the afternoon highs, I think a lot of days coming up are going to be a good 5 to even in some cases 10 degrees colder than normal. So here's a snapshot of what I'm looking at. Both models, the European and the American model, show a really cold low on April 2nd. The polar jet stream goes into central Oregon and southern Oregon. This would be snow levels down to 2,000 feet and maybe 1,200 feet. That's really low for this time of the year. And this cold trough will take several days to work through. So here's the anomaly on the European model, April 2nd through the 9th. And it shows us averaging about 7 degrees colder than normal from Kelso, Longview through Portland down into Lane County, Eugene, and even colder down in the southwestern corner of our state. So again, the messaging here is we have a nice warm up coming for a few days, but then we're going to get back into this colder, wetter than normal pattern. This is all brought to you by the Momentous Wealth Podcast. Listen on Apple Podcasts, listen on Spotify to select a variety of investment topics meant to educate you. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on right now. This is 3:40 this afternoon. This is the way it's looked most of the day today. It's been raining up in Washington. Remember when I talked to you on Friday, we showed much more rain up in Washington than Oregon. We've had clips of rain down through about Eugene, meaning a little bit at times, but not much. All of this is going to continue moving to the north. Here it is on the satellite picture. And if you look at the clouds, you can kind of tell, follow my mouse, everything is wanting to push to the north and arc farther and farther to the north. This continues overnight tonight. I think we wake up to some cloudiness Monday morning and maybe still some light showers in the area. Maybe most of the rain tomorrow morning will be able to our north. And eventually, any rain chance tomorrow morning pushes well to our north. And then we have this nice ridging that takes place for several days. So, really, moving forward, the big story is going to be the temperature starting tomorrow. This is the national blended model showing temperatures tomorrow 72 degrees down in Roseburg and 74 farther to the south. This shows upper 60s around Portland, where I think we could hit 70 tomorrow. And it shows about 60 degrees up in Seattle. Remember, Tuesday is going to be the warm day. Let's check it out. Look at all the 70s, even up in Seattle, Tuesday, 70. This shows mid 70s in Portland, could be upper 70s to 70 or better down to Eugene, and then upper 70s to even it shows a 79 down in southwestern Oregon. It shows temperatures at the beach in the 60s to nearing 70 in places like Tillamook. There's not a predominant wind flow this coming Monday, Tuesday when we get the warm weather. So it's more of a variable south wind. So it's tough to tell if the westerlies are going to kick in. If they do kick in, it'll hold the beach temperatures down. If the westerlies hold off, the beaches will be warming up big time with sunshine as well. Here's a look at the rain. This is tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Rain mainly to our north. Now, this does, I think it's kind of erroneous, actually shows some showers lingering through the morning, mainly in the Cascades. But I think the big story here is the rain really moving up to our north. This is Monday afternoon, rain chances even moving north of Seattle. And then we're nice and dry Tuesday. We're dry into Wednesday morning. Then we have here's in a southwest flow pattern, Wednesday afternoon, showers and maybe some thunderstorms coming up. And it continues to show wet weather into Thursday morning, and the wet pattern will be continuing into the weekend. Here's Friday morning with more rain kind of rotating in. Here's the way it looks on the flow pattern. This is the big ridge setting in tomorrow afternoon, upper level high up into Nevada. The amplitude increases into Tuesday, and then here's Wednesday. A dry morning Wednesday, increasing clouds, and then by later in the afternoon, see the big low southwest flow. This is scattered showers pushing in Wednesday afternoon, and we're going to be still warm, and it's a south flow. Maybe we get unstable and we have some scattered storms mixed in. And then I want you to notice this cold low trough just sits over us on Thursday, Friday, rotates kind of an existing low that gets caught just kind of migrating in an upper trough pattern. This is Saturday, even into Sunday. Now we're going into Monday the 31st, and let's go into Tuesday, April 1st. So once we get the cold front coming in, when scattered showers come in Tuesday, late day, evening, we have the colder, rainy weather on Thursday. We're now back into this cold pattern with every day seeing some measurable rainfall well into the first few days of the month of April. This is interesting from the Weather Service. They've really gotten into the last year or so of playing these percentage possibilities. So, for example, on Sunday, they gave nobody a chance of hitting 70 degrees. This is temps greater than 70. Monday, they show Eugene hitting 70, 95 percentile. 35% chance of hitting 70 in Portland. I think it's greater than that. No chance of the coast. And then here's Tuesday. 100% chance of 70 or better in Eugene, Detroit. Eugene, a 30% chance. We talked about the winds being variable at the coast, so it's tough to tell if the beach went 70 or not. And then it says Portland and Salem, 99, 95%. It's just kind of interesting to look at that stuff sometimes. What I really wanted to pull up is this avalanche warning in blue, which includes Mount Hood and then mainly the Cascades up in Washington. This is currently set to expire at 6:30 this evening, but I wanted to read it to you because it's an interesting way to educate yourself about avalanche danger. So what? Very dangerous avalanche conditions expected as rain and heavy wet snow overload a dry snowpack. So what I wanted to point out was this avalanche warning was issued because of the rising freezing and snow levels with rain coming into a snowpack, which adds weight. And then that shifting of the slabs of different weight is what can trigger the avalanches. So they went on to say the west slopes of the Washington Cascades, Passes, and Mount Hood, including areas near Baker, and all these areas, there could be a very large natural avalanche that would be large enough to bury, injure, or kill a person. Some may be large enough to break trees and travel to lower elevations. It's just kind of, and again, this expires later today. But it's interesting, and it's a way to educate yourself to pull up those warnings. Big story on the mountain, of course, is the warm weather. I've got government camp at 62 degrees Tuesday. Here's 44 degrees this afternoon, kind of foggy, but all wet. And then all the passes are wet and well above freezing, and travel will see no snowy conditions whatsoever until the snow levels drop Wednesday overnight into Thursday. Even Wednesday afternoon with rain coming in, the snow levels are 8,000 feet and higher. So the next time you have to worry about Cascade travel due to snow would be starting Thursday morning if snow levels back down to pass level at about 4,000 feet. Okay, this is courtesy of Hillcrest Ski and Board Shop They're in Gresham and they sponsor my Mount Hood weather forecast page. Okay, let's go around the horn. 61 right now in Portland. Nice warm day. The show's meant for hitting 80 on Tuesday and then cooling into the 50s by Friday as the rainy pattern starts to move back in. Okay. How warm is Pelton going to get? 76 on Tuesday, 76 on Wednesday. Rain going all the way out into eastern Oregon on Thursday and Friday, and then a wetter pattern into the weekend. Not as cold as it has been. Now, Seattle, still rainy on Monday, 68 on Tuesday, all dry. And then the showers coming in the PM hours of Wednesday, then it's all wet, low 50s to 54 degrees over the weekend. Here's Salem, 71 on Monday, 75 Tuesday, still near 70 on Wednesday, then the cooler wet weather starts to come in. Eugene, 71 Monday, 72 Tuesday, still warm on Wednesday of scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm, and then cooling down to the 50s going into the weekend. Here's North Bend, 65 on Tuesday, 61 Wednesday, showers coming in, and then we're back in the 50s. I wonder what they give Astoria. 67 on Tuesday. Well, that's pretty nice, isn't it, from the Weather Service? And then cooling into the 50s going into the weekend. Okay. Here is my 7-day forecast brought to you by Hazeldale Tire Pros. 59. Well, we've hit 60 today, so I wasn't warm enough. Tomorrow, I think we have a chance to hit 70. If we don't make it, we'll be close. Showers end early morning, the chance. Partly sunny skies develop. Sunny, I'm going 77 on Tuesday. We could still hit 70 on Wednesday, depending on how quickly we cloud over in the afternoon. It'll be a warm day. Then we have eventually scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms into the evening and overnight. The rainy Friday back into the mid 50s. The sun and showers Friday. A shower chance on Saturday. 2 days that don't look that wet to me, but probably some rain in the area. And then a wetter day comes in with another cold front on the following Sunday of this upcoming weekend. That is your update. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It helps me out. You'll be notified when I post. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill, coming to you from Vancouver, Washington, and I will talk to you soon.